Welcome to my channel. My name is Taylor Schneider and I am Awakened Medium. On this channel, I hope to inspire, I hope to create, and I hope to become just as all of you who are tuning in. May everybody find great belief within themselves as they become all that they were born to be. And may I hold this platform for everybody who is ready to show up and make a change. Welcome and enjoy the show. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I am here visiting with Ashley Bella Astrology today. Ashley, how are you?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
So Ashley comes from Minnesota, so we could not do this one in person, which is so cool to have somebody from there on here. So welcome. So let's talk a little bit about, you're an astrologist. We met kind of through our mediumship mentor, I believe is kind of where we figured out who each other were, Bonnie Worth. So that was really cool. We both were part of a speaking engagement and I just was really drawn to your energy. And then I ended up getting you to read my chart last month. So once I did that, I'm like, oh my goodness, I want more people to know about you. So welcome on and thanks for being here.
Oh no, thank you. When you reached out, I was so excited. I follow you on Instagram anyway, so I was like, oh my gosh, Taylor wants me to read her chart. I'm so excited. And I felt like we had like really good chemistry. We both have, a lot of Sag energy. Like I could totally pick up on that from you. And I was just so impressed with like your your Capricorn energy. I was like, oh my gosh, this was really good. And so I'm so happy you asked me to be on your podcast.
I love that. Yeah, no, we could you can just tell with people and let's step into talking about astrology already. You can tell the personalities in people when you meet with them. Like some people you're just like, wow, we're going to have a connection. And other people you're like, wow, I might never
Yes.
talk to you again.
No, I know. I love that. You never assume. And you never assume when you're reading until you're actually talking to someone how that is reflected in who they are. But, prepping for someone's chart, and especially like yours, I'm like, oh my gosh, if this girl comes out with a blazing Sag, like I know that she may, this is going to be a great conversation.
Yeah. You're all fired up for it, right?
Uh-huh. Yes,
I love
absolutely.
it. I love it. So let's talk a little bit about how what was it, mediumship or astrology that got you into
Ooh,
all of this? Where'd you start
yeah.
your journey?
So, for me, my journey started from a young age. I was always attracted to astrology, even though I didn't know what it was. It was always kind of around me, and I was always picking up on the archetypal astrology themes they're around me. But what actually led me to astrology was through grief. So they're very intertwined. Mediumship and astrology are the vessels that got me where I am today. But so I found astrology, or it found me,
Yeah.
when I started practicing professionally after I graduated from I went through Deborah Silverman's applied astrology school.
Oh,
And
okay.
I
Yeah.
will say that I use the stars to light my darkest night. And what I mean by that is that my lesson this lifetime has been a lot around grief. And so my lesson was grief. And so when I was looking for answers, that's when astrology really, really presented itself to me. And it was through astrology that I found my ability to really embrace my spiritual connections, because that was part of the answers of what I was looking for. Was I was looking into astrology to find out the answers as to why I was seeking my connection to the spiritual world. And there had to be proof, there had to be something that was there, tangible, that I could see, that was like, oh yes, I am someone who can connect to the other realms, that can connect to these energies that I'm feeling. There has to be a reason why. And so it was through astrology that led me to Bonnie and to mediumship. So to me, it's I use the stars and my guides from the spiritual realm in the topic of healing. I feel like for me, astrology is all about healing, heart healing. And so combining those two together is really why I'm here and my purpose.
I love that. And I think even like just listening to you say that, it's like astrology was your doorway into the
Mhm.
spiritual realms of things, right?
Absolutely.
Into an existence much further, much more beyond. And it does feel like even when you're saying that, like understanding for people just viewing or listening in, like as a medium, you connect with energy. So you connect with energies of all types. That doesn't just mean, the dead on the other side. That does mean the stars. That does mean the planets. That does mean everything in connection to us as physical beings, right?
Absolutely. Just that energy, that connection of energy. I'm someone who has a lot of water is
Mm-hmm.
my elemental foundation is a lot of water. So I feel the sensitivity of my environments. So growing up, not knowing why I felt the way that I did or do, learning through astrology what that means and why I feel that way and why I resonate and I connect with sound healing, why I bring that modality in. That was actually a really strong turning point or very, purposeful moment for me when going through a sound healing session is when I kind of decided or it came to me like, you have a bigger purpose here. These things that you're feeling, this alignment, you need to tap into that. You need to go chase that.
Yeah.
So yeah, energy frequency, that is a very strong element in my life.
And it's funny when you say that, I can feel a lot of water in you, just like in even your social media, just your creative outlet. You're a
Mhm.
very creative, unique person. You're expressive through your creativity, it feels like.
And that is something too through, my spiritual work is giving myself permission to feel and not to just to better understand where those feelings are coming from because they are so important. They truly are. One of the ways that I connect is through feeling, and to really give myself permission to just embrace that part of myself has been really huge for me because for a lot of years, a lot of my life, I would stuff that down and push that away. And that couldn't have been something that really meant something.
Right.
So kind of, that coming out and that coming to of into your magic and you're stepping into what you were supposed to do is like, oh wait, no, I need to unbury that stuff and let that really flow.
For sure. I feel like for you, like feel it and then you've been able to get creative with it, with those feelings. I think as a water, when you're just so unfamiliar or unaware of, the emotional person that you are, you find yourself at first drowning in it, right? And then it's like, oh wait,
Yes.
I can swim in this. I can actually do something with this,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, wait, that's actually my superpower. Oh, wow. That's crazy.
And I hated that about me, and now it might be the best thing.
Right?
Yeah. And I love
Yeah.
when you say too, like charts can be that validation that we need.
Mhm.
Because I remember when I took my first astrology course, I was just deep into the mediumship. And I remember being in this group of people, and they're like, wow, Taylor, this, like, no wonder you are doing what you're doing. Like, this is totally what you're meant to do. And it just feels so confirming, when you're in a place of not questioning, but just not fully confident in what you're doing. You're like, I feel like I
Yeah.
should do this. I don't know. But then that chart that can just solidify, like you're doing the right thing
That
is your power.
tangible evidence.
Yeah.
Like I had that same when I saw your chart, I'm like, oh, look at that 12th house, Aquarius. Oh my gosh, yes, she is living her birth chart right now. And I love to see that. But I had that same thing is like I needed someone to say like you give yourself permission to go into this occupation, this world that you love, you do love the things that you're attracted to and you're drawn to are not random. But
Right.
it's like it's not that you need permission. And I always say this in my meetings is like, or my readings is I'm never going to tell you something that you don't already know yourself.
Yeah.
I'm just going to hold up a mirror and tell you what you already know, remind you of what maybe you forgot or you lost along the way. It already lives inside of you. I'm not going to pull anything out that is like, I had no idea. It's like this confirmation, exactly what you said. It's that confidence to go and be who your soul came here to be.
I love that. As the spiritual guide, you're basically the highlighter. Like you highlight the
Yeah.
things for the
I
people,
love that.
right?
Yeah. The highlighter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like this is
Totally.
important. This is a part of your life. And then they go, oh, thank you for almost giving me that permission or granting me that permission to step back
Totally.
into that
Yeah.
in my life, right?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
huge. And you know what? I think a lot of people, I think we need it. Like even when I train a lot of mediums, I work with a lot of mediums, and I always say that in the very first lesson I teach, not that I'm teaching them anything. I'm only guiding them in what they already know. And just it's the remembering. That's all it is for all
Yeah.
of us, right?
Remembering. It's the remembering. That is exactly what it is. Yes.
And so how has that, like, I mean, obviously your practice has helped you unlock and reveal so much more of yourself, but how has that shifted into your practice and like what you're able to do and provide now for the people?
You know what? Part of the journey that I've been through my training through astrology and mediumship, not only getting that validation through, the first part of astrology, like you have the ability to tap into the spirit realm, your mediumship abilities. But for me, it was also that's what I just loved about going through that mediumship training and course was unlocking my own permission to listen to my intuition. I think that made it so much stronger relating that back to astrology and tying those two together because they are absolutely intertwined. What I'm doing when I am reading a chart is I am channeling through the modality of the chart and being able to trust that and learn about where my strengths really are, as this say and spiritual empowerist is really like tapping into my own sources that I'm listening to through channeling through other means. But I think that's how I tie them together is it's really made my astrology so much stronger is because I'm listening to my inner guidance
Yeah.
and knowing what that is. I
Yeah.
think that's another thing is actually recognizing, paying attention to it, working at it, making it stronger. Well, that's how I work through astrology
For
is by
sure.
tapping into that.
Yeah. So obviously, like the deeper you tap into yourself, the deeper you're able to go for the people you're supporting as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it opens me up to be able to listen to every reading that I do. Before the session, I do my own, dropping into myself, but it's also opening up the channels for whoever I'm reading for, their guides to be with us, my guides to be with us. What my whole intent is really to be that open channel and that vessel for who I'm serving, what messages they need to receive from me. What do I need to channel out of this chart for
Yeah.
their highest good?
For sure, for sure. And I mean, you always nail it because like you gave me what I needed. And I think that that's what it is really just trusting in the source beyond yourself too, and just knowing that once you do your calling in whatever way your practice looks, that you trust that we will provide what these people are here for, right? Like there's just the simple intention of calling forward that, I mean, gives usually them exactly what they need, whether they knew they needed it or
Yeah,
not, right?
that's true. Very true. Absolutely.
I love that. And that's really cool too, just for, viewers listening today. Like, yeah, there's two mediums here in conversation, but how different and unique we are, how different are the way we're able to serve is, because that's where you really embrace your uniqueness. That's where you do embrace your astrology chart of how am I here to serve the world, right? How can I provide this in my own unique way? And I think that's where people, or even myself as a medium, starting in the mediumship world, it felt very much like you had to fit a specific mold. And then as I've watched the development of mediumship and even myself step further into my gift and ability, there is no mold. You create it with your own unique self, right?
Well, isn't that is so powerful because it's going back to our birth chart, it's unlearning that mold that everyone else has, like following what worked for one person, and you think, oh, well, that's what I need to be like. It's reflected also when you're looking at your birth chart, in that you came here with your own mission, you came here with your own authenticity, and your job is to be that, to embody that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's they're, yeah, both the
That's the
same thing.
exact same word I got when you said it too, is it's that embodying who you are. And, I see that a lot with students is, they first compare themselves to me and what I do and the way I'm showing up in my
Yeah,
practice. But that's
yeah,
why I really like to pull forward other people like you in the astrology and, to show like this is a very broad spectrum of individuals and you really
yeah.
can do and create whatever you want with that gift and ability as it becomes more and more unlocked in your life, right?
Yeah, and I definitely can think of examples where I've, before learning, about myself, is trying to step into someone else's shoes. It's like you run into like hitting your head against the wall, like, why isn't this working? You get frustrated because you're trying to be someone else. And so
Right.
until you can truly like listen to yourself and call yourself forward and through, that's when the magic starts to really happen.
Exactly. Yeah, walking your own path, really, like just claiming it and doing your own thing. I
Yeah.
think what vulnerability is the key to the success we all seek as well, right?
Very much so.
Yeah,
Humbling can be, but yes,
humbling.
vulnerability.
Is this the Sag in us right now that we're just like we've got it figured out here today, or
Look at us. Look at us with these big ideas and this optimism.
right? I love that. I love that. Well, share a little bit about your chart. So you have a lot of water and you have a bit and some fire. Is that what your chart's all about, or
So
what?
a lot of water and fire, yeah. So the thing about my fire though is it is underwater. So I am a sun in Scorpio, my moon is in Pisces, and I'm a rising Sagittarius.
Ah,
But the powerful point of my chart is that I also have a 12th house stellium. And that's where my Sag is. So all my planets are sitting underwater. All my fire planets are sitting underwater. So for me, tapping into those has been a bit of a journey. The
yeah,
12th house can be quite elusive and hidden from us. So a lot of my life, obviously, I've been searching. I've had this inner feeling, this inner knowing of nothing at face value is truly what I'm looking at. I'm really playing with the energies that are unseen, and the world of growing up is that world of make believe, but is it really make believe if you're
right.
already, you're tapping into something you don't really know. So for me, a lot of my life has been playing with what is hidden and what is underwater per se. I do have my sun in Scorpio. I think that is the culprit to why I've always been a watcher of people, trying to get a deeper understanding what people are hiding, what is under the surface,
Yeah,
that detective quality. And as studying through astrology, trying to really build up that fire, give that Sag more permission to come out, that part that
right.
I didn't feel safe, vulnerable.
In
To
hiding, right? It was in hiding. Didn't know you should pull it out.
Yep,
Didn't really want to.
exactly. Yep. And then, that hitting that double Pisces, so that stellium in the 12th house, and then having a Pisces moon. I'm very Piscean.
Yeah,
I'm a very Neptunian flavor to how I approach the world, that sensitivity, very Neptunian.
but that makes sense too, why you needed to find the mystical realm of existence within
Oh yeah.
yourself. Like it was literally
Yeah.
it's most of what you are. And so when you didn't
Correct.
understand it, you really didn't feel like you fit in this world,
Fish
right?
out of water.
Yeah.
I've felt that my whole life, that fish out of water feeling until you get that permission, whether you give it to yourself or find it through a medium or an astrologer or some other modality that gives you permission to be like, you are attracted to what you're attracted to for a reason. Lean
Right.
into that. Don't try to be someone else's idea of what success looks like. You need to follow your own North Star, your own guidance. So it's been an amazing journey of kind of unlearning and then relearning all about myself.
I love that. Do you find with the water that you are that the darker side is almost where you play a lot more than the lighter side? I feel like when
Yeah.
I work with a lot of waters, I have to often remind them to get to the light side.
Oh, that is definitely something, especially as a younger person, young girl growing up, that dark water was definitely a lot of fear, a lot of playing in, yeah, that scarier side of the scarier emotional side of life,
Yeah.
um, strong tides of deep emotional water, playing in that for sure. But you
And I
kind
think,
of
sorry, Asha, I just want to say,
no, go for it.
I think when you have so much water and you're such a feeler, like it is hidden. Like it's not, you don't see emotion, you feel it. And so it's again this underwater stuff. And it's like, no, you feel misunderstood and it's hard to explain and it's hard to let others in because you don't even know how to process what the heck's going on with you either, right?
Absolutely. You're taking on energies that aren't yours. You don't know why they feel like yours. You don't know why you go into a room and you come out completely exhausted and you need to be alone for a month or two by yourself and be really alone. And you feel like, what's wrong with me? Like, why can't I, go out and be social and without being absolutely drained afterwards because you don't even realize that how affected you are by the energies around you.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. What are some of your best practices for that amplified water that you are when you want to go out in public, when you have events that you want to partake in?
I have to have downtime. I have to be alone. Even at things as small as, having people come into my home for like a weekend if it's a family event.
Yeah.
Once they leave, I need 2 or 3, 4 days to just seclude myself, and turn off my phone, get away from energy. That has been a learning for my husband. For him, that when we go anywhere time we go out and do something, even if it's a fun event, I need to get away afterwards and really be away. And it's nothing personal. It's not that I, don't want him around. It's like, no, I just need to go recharge my batteries.
Yeah, I need to be with myself and ground
Maybe
back
so.
into my space, right? Which is really
Yeah.
cool with the career that you do because with astrology charts, a lot of it is, in your own time and space, right? There's
Yeah.
always a time where you present it, but also I feel like that really works with your energy in the way that you like to be able to show up as well, right?
Oh, 100%. My younger life before I found that, I could make my own way in this world, chasing that corporate dream, working in that environment for 12 years and being so emotionally drained all the time.
Yeah.
Um, what a night and day difference to be able to work now in an environment that is on my terms, but also that caters to, that water side of myself where I can be in control of my downtime and my soul time. Is this
Yeah.
so much needed? Um,
Cater to your needs basically
yeah,
is what it is.
yeah,
And I just
yeah.
think like for viewers today, that's so important in our life. Like if we're not listening to the kind of person we are and what works and what doesn't work, and we're trying to fit a mold that just isn't aligned with us. I mean, it's like you talked about, it's like hitting the wall
Yeah.
constantly. There's
Yeah.
no movement. And I think you can always know when you're not in the right place because you feel it and the progression just doesn't happen in the way that you had hoped for.
Right. Yeah. Hitting the
Right?
wall.
Hitting
Hmm.
the wall and hitting the wall. And you know what? Some people hit the wall for quite a long time
I
before they
did. I
recognize
know
it.
I did. I couldn't give up. I couldn't give in. I couldn't see beyond that wall. That was the life that I thought was going to, that I was going to be successful in. And I was pursuing it because everyone said that that's how you make it in this world, and you
Yeah.
suck it up, and that's the only way. And if you're not, strong enough to make it to the top of the corporate ladder, well, then yeah, you're going to be stuck in that cubicle, but that's a great way to live your life. And it's a great paycheck, and it is a great role model for your children. And it just, yeah, took
Didn't
me a
work.
long time. Took me a long time
The
to
good
get out.
old conditioning, right? We've all been
Yeah.
through it. And we're all
Yes.
still processing through it. And I'm interested to know, what zodiac is your husband?
He's a Cancer.
Oh, lots of
And
water.
so he's a Cancer, but he also has a stellium in Sag. His moon is in Sagittarius. And he has a stellium in Sagittarius, and he's a rising Pisces. So he
Oh,
gets to teach me about being a Sagittarius,
yeah.
and I get to teach him about being a Pisces, because let me tell you, this whole world, this metaphysical world, is completely new to him. He's very open to it, but
Yeah.
he's learning so much more about the world, the unseen.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's a perfect balance between the two. It's you complement one another, right?
Fire, lots of fire and water. Yep.
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. My husband, we haven't figured out his time, but he is a Virgo. So we're just good old boring Earths. But then, yeah, you throw in some water and some fire, and yeah, it's interesting.
I think too, so you're very Saturnian, because obviously you're a Capricorn, but you have that square to Saturn, so it makes you even more Saturnian. I have Saturn on my sun, so I'm also very influenced by the planet Saturn, and I find that I do attract a lot of Saturnian type people in my life.
Yeah.
Very interesting once you can observe it and you know what you're looking for. The type of people that come into your life that are attracted to you are very much complementary to what shows up in your chart.
Yeah, you can tell in the personality. And I think it usually is kind of a bluntness, the like when I'm thinking of a Sagittarius right now,
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking of the bluntness because that does come out of me quite often.
Sagittarius moons, you.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's good. It's good. So where are you at with your career now? Like, is it still like more private stuff that you do? Do you teach some astrology? What's that kind of look
Ooh.
like?
So I do private readings, of course. I'm leaning more into the teaching, leaning more into my Sagittarius teacher. I do
Of
have
course you are. Why would we bring that
why wouldn't I not?
up?
So I do help teach. I help kind of a mentor within the applied school of astrology. So I help teach new astrologers the fundamentals of astrology, but I also am starting to develop my own teaching platforms. And it's interesting. I know at timing may not line up when we release this, but with this Aries energy that we have a full moon coming up. I have felt the most motivation to birth this new course, all around like embodiment and really just implementation of astrology into our life. And so I've been riding this fire train this week on just being so motivated to get back into the classroom and develop this content. And actually, even it kind of kicked off. I think it was at your reading. You said we were talking about, your drive to when you want something, you lock yourself in and you go for it. You don't even you know hesitate on putting anything off. It's like, I have to birth this now. I'm going to do what it takes, whatever it is. I'm going to get this out now. And I felt that so strongly after talking with you. And then as we have this fire energy around us right now, that has definitely been a strong influence this week.
I love that. But I think that that's sometimes, as humans, procrastination is a huge thing for us in our lives. But
Mhm.
when we, like you said, when the idea decides it wants to be birthed, it wants to be birthed,
It's birthing.
yeah,
Yes.
you don't really have a choice. And so it's going to be that thought, and it's going to be that inner drive of take action on this. This is the key. So I love that you're like, yeah, I'm going to embody this experience and
Yes.
just do it because I'm feeling the calling, right? I'm feeling the push.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what month do you think you'll release that? Is there a month we can look forward to here?
Oh my gosh, you know what? It's going to line up so perfectly in October with the eclipse that's happening. I just know it's poetically going to be that way.
Yeah.
The steam that's building, it's going to happen with the eclipse. And what is so the eclipse is going to be in Libra on October 14th. And that eclipse is happening directly on top of my midhaven, on top of my Mars. So
Yeah.
I know this is all about career for me, and it's just the perfect time to launch that course.
And I think right now, like energetically, there's a lot about stepping in or tapping into that soul's mission. Like what more
Mhm.
can we create and bring forward? And the word we've been using is embody what we have, the knowledge we have. How can we share this with the world? So I think that's so cool to just acknowledge to me as well and yourself, but also the viewers, like if there is something that wants to be birthed, like it's because it's chose you. You are going to be the person that's going to channel this forward. And yeah, that's when you just embrace your own unique self and put it out there. And you never worry. Well, at least I don't worry about, well, other people have done things similar because nobody's done it in the way that you've done it. You are your own unique self, right?
Oh my gosh, that is that is just so right on the nail on the head there, especially what you're saying. I could like go back in my journal and what you just said, like I know I have written that out recently. That is such a mere mere translation for my life right now. It's so true. Like when that voice, you hear that voice, that nudging, that's for you. Like it is asking to be birthed by you and to not care. I think a lot of people get stuck in your self-limiting beliefs or just, fear of, oh, well, that's already been done. Like there's
Yeah.
no room for me there. Like it's just, removing that noise and that inner voice that limits us and makes us feel smaller. And it's like, no, there's plenty of room for you. It's abundance thinking. Here we go with our Sagittarius platform here, but there's enough for everybody. Like when you get that inspiration, that is for you to birth into this world.
Yeah.
Yes, it will keep knocking. So hopefully it doesn't run you over once you ignore it long enough, but those gentle nudges from the universe are specifically for you to
Yeah.
listen to and not to, don't try to talk yourself out of it. Don't try to, you don't have to have the end planned in goal. You don't, or in mind, you don't have to see what it's going to bring for you. Just take that first step. That's
I think too, sometimes it's not sometimes, all the time, it is the answer to our prayers. Like it is the answer to that next level that we have been calling forward, waiting for, and ready to experience. I mean, these things don't come forward to be birthed until we're ready for the experience, for the growth that's going to come with taking that step. I know right now I'm looking at creating a whole new kind of platform in my career to reach more people. And yeah, so many people are doing it, but nobody's going to do it to the way that I'm going to do it as long as I embrace and embody who I am, right?
your authenticity, bring your authentic voice to it.
Right.
Yeah, I love that. And that's a lot about what is coming through with this course that I'm working on. It's not only like embodiment, but it is how to use it, like how to, it's one thing of knowing something that you want to do, or knowing, like in astrology, knowing your birth chart. It's like, okay, when I embody it and bring it to life, that's when I integration. That's the word I'm trying to, that I'm thinking here, is like, okay, integrate it and integrate it in my own authentic way. Like that's where that's the magic. That's the sweet spot, is bringing my authentic viewpoint to life.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, well, you know what? Anyone listening today will feel fired up and ready to get rolling, whatever they've been procrastinating. I want to ask you while I have you, Ashley, is a spiritual community. Like, I mean, I have found, like, I'm located in Lloydminster, Canada, and there wasn't, when I started my journey, you know, 10 years ago, there wasn't much of a community. I mean, a community's been developed, but then through my calling, I've really felt called to create my own community. And I didn't really realize how important it was until I started to create it and see it is so much easy to up level and grow and embrace and embody who you are when you have actually a community around you that supports, encourages, and loves you for you. So I'm just wondering, what does your community look like? Have you found that? Have you established that? Do you have that spiritual support in your life?
No, the timing, like you bringing this up is so if you can see, and for those of you who are watching, these cards back here are all about building my community. I shit you not, sorry if I can't swear.
No, you got
it. Okay. Because I'm also being called to really find, one of my mentors used the phrase, my spiritual running buddies. Like, who are your spiritual running buddies who can help level you up? I lived in Arizona for 12 years and I found this amazing female entrepreneur group. And it was so empowering they really helped me to really take that first step into entrepreneurship, launching my, Ashley Bella Astrology, because when you are around, those people that help you to level up, it makes such a big difference. And so moving up here, now I live in Minnesota, I live in the woods. There's not a lot of what I would call like people that I can talk to about in person, about what I do. I'm pretty sure I am the only astrologer up here in my neck of the woods. And so I have this calling to reach out and start a community like that. And so I am also kind of looking for my spiritual running buddies, who I can use, help motivate me too.
Yeah. And you know what? I think that's where you have to, and I remember when I started to create, that community, I'd say like about 5 years ago for myself, a lot of our own belief systems and conditioning starts to really be revealed as well. Like, we don't need to do this alone. Matter of fact, our clients can sometimes become one of our greatest friends. And our friendships are our greatest resources in our life. And so it's like you've got these different people coming forward, and they're going to hold you up and they're going to be a part of your support group, but you actually have to let them in, right?
Yes. 100%.
I think sometimes we hear the knocking and then we don't open the door. And that's because of our own belief system around having to be the lonely goat out in the woods, right? Because that's what we thought we had to do, and we don't.
No, that is a definite learning for me too. Being someone who is a lot of water, there's a lot of privacy that I hold and a lot of walls that I have up. So I haven't, in the past, reaching out to a community wasn't something that I was comfortable with. But now that I've stepped into, this part of my career, this part of my life, like I absolutely I'm with you there on finding those who may not necessarily be experiencing maybe the exact same thing as you, but in a way that you wouldn't, this is an important lesson that I've been learning, is you wouldn't ask help or ask perspective from someone who isn't going in the direction that you are. It's finding the people that are in kind of that same realm that you are operating in, that you can leverage and work with. And so, the lone goat in the woods. I like that.
I mean, I wasn't saying that was exactly you, but I just mean, we do that to ourselves. And
Yeah.
I also did that to myself. I was too young to move out into the woods at the time, but probably would have if I could have. Uh, but you know what, that's the thing too, and having a community around me now, not saying that my community's done. I hope to continue to grow it, and again meet more and more resourceful people in my life to help elevate me. But that's the thing, is these people elevate you, they help you up level so much quicker, so much faster, so much easier. Because
Yes.
even when I think of the programs, like I started with a level 1, and these people who chose me to learn through pushed me into the level 2, and then the level 3, and then the spiritual subscription, and then the podcast. And these people are
Yeah.
doing more than just being the client for you or being a part of
Yeah.
your community. They are building you. They are actually helping you into
I love
creation.
that. Oh, I love that.
And I
Yes.
don't think it's about finding people. I think it's about trusting and allowing them to come forward, because when there's a knock at the door, you are responsible to open it,
You have, yeah, it's your choice. Are you going to open that door or are
right?
you going to ignore it? Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, and I think that that's even, for anybody who's kind of felt like the lonely or the black sheep or the lone goat out of like whatever, you are not alone, but maybe you've chose to isolate yourself. Maybe you've chose to live in the limitation that I don't have the support that I wish I could have had. Maybe you're living in the lack instead of going, actually, I'm ready to pull this forward. I'm ready to have the people in my life that are going to elevate me as well.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I love that.
So
Love that.
cool. Wow, that's gonna get you. I feel like that's gonna spark a lot. Okay, well, maybe every month me and you'll just start to have conversations and it can just keep
Yeah.
sparking.
I am actually like, oh, my motivation from what's behind me is like I can feel the energy like coming off of it. Like, okay, you definitely need to go keep chasing that because that is
I
definitely
feel like the sticky notes will be moved off the wall and closer to the computer to make
they're
this
moving.
shit
Yeah.
happen. That's awesome. That's amazing. Well, I thank you so much for getting vulnerable and honest and sharing who you are today. I have really felt drawn to you, and now more than ever I feel even more drawn to you. So I feel like our path together is probably just beginning, which is really exciting. And so you get that community built, because I would love to be a part of it and learn from you, because I
I
think
think
you're
it's
quite a person, quite a character. I think like you have some uniqueness that I would like to embody as well within myself. So but that's the thing, right? You find the people that jive with you, you find the people that complement you or that you understand, and I think that that's when you really grow too. So I think we're always being provided with people. Again, it's just we have
Yep.
to acknowledge it and recognize it, right?
When you feel it too, you feel that connection, like, meeting you and having, the conversations that we've already had, like, I think it's already done. Like, I think we're already in the circle. We're already spiritual running buddies. Like
Right.
it's we already signed up to do this together. It's just like the universe, like, okay, Ashley, like, let this in. Like, this is a relationship that you needed, you've been calling for. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I think that's the thing, is allowing it to be. The stars can align as much as they need to. The human has to choose, right?
absolutely. We always have our own choice.
I love that. Okay, so followers, they have lots of opportunity to kind of watch the unfoldment here. There's some cool things shifting in your biz. I feel it. I think
Yes.
leading up to the new year, I think a lot of shifts are happening for you, which is so exciting. So, how do people find you, and how can they, get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. So on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, Ashley Bella Astrology. My podcast, I do a podcast too called Bella Astrology, Spotify, you can find me there. And then through my website, ashleybellaastrology.com.
I love it. And your so private readings, astrology readings is kind of what's
Yep.
highlighted right now, right?
Yep, private readings. I will definitely be announcing new course materials that will be available coming out in the next month or so. So watch for that too. But yeah,
Probably at
private.
the same time we release this. I mean,
Oh, I love that timing again. Everything just is so perfectly balanced at when it needs to happen. I love it.
I love that. Well, thank you, Ashley, so much for being here, for tuning in and letting my viewers meet your amazing energy. So it's been an honor.
Thank you so, so much. We'll talk soon.
Thank you for tuning in to Awakening Within with myself, Taylor Schneider. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like, share, and subscribe. If you are interested in working with me at a deeper soul level, visit my website, awakenmedium.com, and see if there's a course or possibly one of my subscriptions that feels called to you. My subscriptions are community-based, helping you grow and become in all ways possible, as well as guiding you through deep levels of meditation